We pull no punches. Press the button, subscribe.
Fight fans, welcome. And today, a guest on my channel, my second Irish fighter in as many weeks, Lee Gormley. How are we today, mate?
I'm doing good, Doran. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. It's great to get you on, and I'm really looking forward to this interview with you.
Thank you.
So, Lee, I've done my research on you. You was a former writer for Boxing News. You're now a pro fighter. First easy question: tell us how this all came about.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange route into boxing, really. Writer first, professional boxer after. But they sort of overlapped, really. But yeah, I used to do freelance work for Boxing News, and now I work full time for Box Raw as a boxing content writer as well, boxing writer. But as I was starting off, I went to uni, did sports journalism, got into the boxing writing through that, and sort of just along the way, I got into boxing competitively myself as an amateur, and eventually from there, sort of just worked my way up through the amateurs. And once I sort of got the boxing bug and got proper dedicated to it, I wanted to be a pro, and as soon as I actually started it myself, like I had a pro style, like, and my coaches always said that, but the amateurs was just gaining experience, doing my groundwork, fighting loads of different styles, and coming up against like proper good lads in the amateur ranks, and eventually, yeah, I just worked my way up and turned pro a couple of years ago now. So yeah, it's been a good journey so far. Like, I'm really enjoying it. It's busy balancing both, but yeah, it's worth it. Like,
Yeah, I was going to say, fascinating stuff to go from that to putting the gloves on yourself. Well, you mentioned your amateur career there. I believe you had around 40 amateur bouts, was it?
yeah, I think I finished around 40 fights or so. Yeah, and in a
Yeah,
short space of time too, because of like lockdown and COVID and stuff. So squeezed them all in that like short space.
keeping yourself busy. Well, your record so far as a pro is 7 fights into your pro career, 6 wins, 1 loss.
Mhm.
You've operated at super featherweight. You've also operated at super light. Your last fight was super featherweight. I was at that show in Birmingham. How would you judge the start to your pro career so far?
Uh, yeah, solid. Progressive. I'm progressing each fight. As I was saying, like, I didn't have that big an amateur career, so I was sort of learning on the job, really, and sort of the same with the pros as well. Although I was always more suited to being a pro, you still have to get in there and do it. And yeah, like, I've enjoyed it. It's a completely different ball game to the amateurs, but each fight I'm learning, and as I step through the rounds, I'm getting better and better. Early had a bit of a setback early on, and you know probably still should have went my way. Like, but if it was 7-0 now instead of 6-1, I mightn't have learned as much from that fight. So I think it was actually a bit of a blessing in disguise early on, and it propelled me to do even better. Like, so I've been on a great run since then, and yeah, just getting better and better each fight. Like,
Well, as I said, your last fight, I was at that show at the East Side Rooms in Birmingham. You got your first stoppage win against a tough kid in Ricky Leach.
yeah.
He doesn't usually get stopped that much. I mean, he's a great sort of like journeyman of the sport.
Yeah.
Um, your first stoppage, how did it? Did you feel? Was you? I know obviously you've been looking to get a stoppage victory, but was you buzzing to come away from that fight with that stoppage win?
Yeah, definitely. Like, every fighter wants to get the knockout so early in their career. Like, um, for me, I knew I have the power, I have the snap. But I'm a good fighter over the longer distance, and I can break guys down. Like, and I think that's what you'll see going forward in my career. Four rounders early on, they're all about learning, but they're still sort of like an amateur type kind of pace. Really, you just got the one extra round. So once you get into the 6 rounders and beyond, it's a proper it's a proper fight then, like it's proper pro boxing. And yeah, I knew coming into this one, like I'd be able to grind him down and beat him up and stop him. Like, and that was the plan. Jump on him late, work him to the body early, and hopefully get the finish. And it came like, and yeah, that's what I've been working on in the gym for a long time, and steady improvements. And just I was very happy with that performance. Like, and to get the stoppage is a bonus. Like.
Definitely, it was a real solid performance. Well, that was your fourth win on the bounce. You did mention earlier that your little blip on your career, so your pro career so far, against Cole Sampson in 2023, a points loss. Reflections on that fight. It was an unexpected defeat. Going back to that now, was there any sort of excuses for the defeat or anything like that?
There's no excuses. Like, just take it like a man. Like, move on. He was a better fellow on the night. Like, and a lot of things I just did wrong. Didn't turn up properly. Just didn't fight the right fight. Like, and there was all shit going on. Like, but no excuses. And as I said, like, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, and learned a lot from it. Not just in the ring, like, but in terms of like business side of boxing, and things that are going on outside the ring. And yeah, as I said, like, blessing in disguise. I've just got better and better in the gym and in the ring from a fight since then. Like, so it was a good learning experience. And look, like, people look at undefeated records and stuff these days as if they're the be all end all, but not for me. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm big boxing historian, like, and looking back at all the old school proper legends of the sport, some of them had friggin' 20 losses more, like, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, it's as long as you learn from it. Like,
Well, if you look at someone like Derek Chisora, the big fights he still gets now, he's the perfect example, isn't he?
yeah, exactly.
Well, you said you learned a lot from that defeat. What would you say you learnt the most from that? Would you say what do you think you done differently next time from that defeat that you had?
A lot of it was like outside the ring as well.
Okay.
Just in terms of like not even preparation, but like the dealings and goings on outside the ring before fights and all that. But in terms of in the ring, like, I didn't fight my style. Wasn't properly switched on and stuff, like, and I just sort of maybe got a bit outworked that night. Still fought all right. It was just a really shitty, scrappy fight. Like, I wouldn't. It's not one you would ever go and watch back. Like, So yeah, just sticking to my own style, working to my strengths, and there's a lot of things I worked on since then as well that I didn't do very well on the night, and I've improved massively on. Like, so yeah, as I said, good learning experience. Like.
Brilliant. So boxing is always about staying active, especially at this stage of your career now. You're 33, a sort of late arrival to the game. You always look in incredible shape. You're always incredibly fit. You absolutely live and breathe the game, don't you? What is needed in the sport of boxing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's you can't cut any corners in boxing, as a pro anyway. And for me, like, I've known that from studying boxing, working on boxing, and then being in boxing myself as a fighter. Like, I've known plenty of fighters from my time in the gym that were just like crazy talented, better than me. There's been so many fighters a lot more talented than me and others in the gym, but they just didn't have the discipline or dedication, and they lose themselves really, like, and they just go off the boil, and you don't really hear from them again. They could have done so much more. Like, so for me, like, I don't have the privilege of having that, like, natural maybe boxing ability from so young. Like, so if everything I've got now, I've worked on and drilled it into myself with my coaches and in the gym, and everything else then that I can get an upper hand on people is just hard work and the discipline. So that's why I keep myself so fit all the time. After that last one, I was back in the gym a couple of days later, as I always am. If I'm allowed, my coaches sometimes don't let me back in straight away. Like, but yeah, it's just you have to live the lifestyle in the sport, like, and that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, you have a great following on social media, and people I see, the things that I read on social media, a lot of people think you deserve a real solid fight on a good platform. Is it all about taking gradual steps at the right time, or are you looking to escalate quickly?
Yeah, so it's looking like now I'm going to have a Celtic title fight next, hopefully towards the end of the year. I was sort of in early discussions for that throughout this year. It could have happened earlier in the year. Um, Things just didn't fall into place really for it, but now it looks like it's going to be November for a Celtic title fight back in Ireland. Fingers crossed, all being well. That's the one I've been looking for a while now. Like, so I've been looking to step it up. You know, I've had my learning fight, so to speak, up to this point. You know, but a few years ago, even like people, fighters like me coming through would have had maybe double what I've had in term for learning fights. You know, against journeymen, stepping it up and the activity. Like, but nowadays it's changed. Like, and the costs are a lot higher. Getting on shows and uh, selling tickets and sponsorships and all that carry on. Like for up and coming fighters, like for himself, like it's hard. It's tough business. So nowadays fighters like me will have to sort of step it up a bit earlier. And you know, after I've only had 7 pro fights now in a quite short space of time. Like, so I've said this year, like I want to sort of step it up, and that's the next step. That's the next stage, a title fight. So yeah, fingers crossed that gets officially confirmed sort of quite soon for the end of the year, and then push
Fantastic.
on from there as well. You know, like just keep taking keep pushing on, keep progressing, getting better and better with every future fight.
Well, hopefully that fight does come for you. What would you say as a boxer your best attributes are now?
I'm quite I'm a good technical boxer. You know, everything as I said, like I came to the gym with no, you know, bad history of in other gyms, people learning bad habits or anything like that. I came to my gym fresh and picked everything up there, and I've just drilled and drilled and learned everything from my coaches there. So my technical abilities have, you know, they've got to a good level, like, and I'm still progressing. Like, so I'd say my technical ability, but other than that, you know, as I said before, fitness through discipline as well. Like, I think you'll see that as I step these fights up, longer distances. That's going to be key for me. Like,
Okay. Well, how far? I don't want to jump the gun and put too much pressure on, but how far do you think you can go in the sport of boxing?
yeah, I can go. Like, I've got a lot of self belief in my coaches, my team around me, all the fighters in the gym. We've got self belief in all of our abilities, and like I know I can go far. But I'm taking it each fight at a time, each step at a time. And as I said before, like, you know, losses don't mean anything as long as you learn from them. So you know, starting it up again, hopefully end of this year, and you know, a big fight like that, big title fight, regardless of result, you learn from it, and you get better and better, and you keep pushing on as a fighter. Like, so I know I can get that good level. I've got that good level from building myself up at the gym through from like very little early experience in the sport. Like, so I know I can go far and win titles. Like, and that's the goal. You know, keep collecting titles over the next few years, hopefully.
Hopefully so. I really hope everything works out for you. Well, we've got a small matter in Ireland, not too far away. Paddy Donovan versus Lewis Crocker, all Irish IBF world title fight at Windsor Park.
Yeah.
What an atmosphere that will be. Who do you think wins the fight? And second question in me that, do you ever look at these events and think, I want a bit of that?
Yeah. So yeah, well, like, funny story, like the title fight that I'm hopefully going to be involved in the end of this year, it was sort of tipped to be on that card
Oh,
early,
really?
early a few months ago anyway. But we were in like sort of early talks, discussions, and it got brought up about there was a good chance we could get it on that yard, but I didn't want to get my hopes up and stuff. Like, but it fell through eventually. Like, but the talks were there and it was mentioned. So yeah, I know going forward, like, you know, these kind of big cards are there, like they are realistic. So you just have to keep working hard. Like, but
Mm.
in terms of prediction wise, don't want to get myself in too much trouble online. But I think you have to favor Paddy. After the first fight, I think he's a better overall boxer fighter. He's got Andy Lee in his corner, who's arguably the best coach in the sport right now, one of the best ones.
Definitely.
So I'd say I'd probably favour Paddy, but I think Lewis did have a very off night, to be fair, on the first time around. Like, so I think it won't be as one sided maybe as this time around, but I still sort of would lean towards Paddy in a better fight over the distance, I think.
Yeah, I'd. My personal opinion is that as well, and like you say, I'm expecting a better fight, cracker of a fight. Looking forward to that night of boxing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep you too much longer now, Lee. Last question. I've done a show lately on some of the shocking things that happen in boxing now. For example, Jake Paul versus Javante Davis, that's going to be happening. Misfit style boxing that is now happening, that he's doing very well in terms of numbers. What's your opinion on all this? I mean, you're at a stage of your career now where you're on smaller hall shows, trying to develop into bigger shows. What, as a boxer at your stage now, what is your opinion on these type of shows and these type of fights?
Yeah, I've sort of mixed opinions on it. Like from from a perspective of like a fan and being in boxing himself, in a way, it does draw a lot of attention to the sport, which is always good when people are looking at boxing and boxing's in the headlines and the spotlight. Then I suppose that's only good for boxing. Like, but in terms of like a fighter like myself and other guys who are working their way up and having to like graft their ass off just to make ends meet and like get through fights every year, and it's a fucking tough business. Like, so when you see guys like on Misfits cards who just happen to have a good social following or YouTube following, whatever, and they just turn up, rock up, and take these big slots, main event slots, and get paid crazy amounts of money. Like, it's
Yeah, totally agree.
it is you can see why fighters would be a bit envious, like, and there would be a backlash. Like, for me personally, like, I don't watch any of them, so
No, normal.
I couldn't care less really. Like, I know it's sort of, even though I work in boxing, like, I don't watch any of it, so a lot of these a lot of these shows that pop up, and I see all these names coming up, people, and I see them, I think, who the hell's that? Like, I think, like, sometimes I mistake myself. I think, like, I don't know who these guys are. I'm like missing out on, oh shit, who's that upcoming prospect? But it's actually some YouTuber that I've never heard of. Like, so yeah, I don't even watch it. Any of that stuff. And the Jack Paul, Tank Davis stuff is a bit different because it's a proper world champion, and then Jack Paul, to be fair to him, like, he's actually starting to be a decent fighter. Yeah, you have to call him a boxer now. Like, everyone always says he's just a YouTuber and stuff, but he's quite legitimate now, isn't he? And like,
Fair enough. Yeah.
fair play to him, he's sort of put the work in, and he's doing other good things for the sport. Like, but that fight though is a bit mad. I think it's like 7 weight divisions or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
Yeah,
it's a bit of it's a cash out in there for that, like, for Tank and that, but it's dangerous too. Like, get, like, I'm a super featherweight myself, like, but smaller fighters, like, you do spar a lot bigger guys in the gym sometimes. We're like just in classes and that aren't like very good fighters and stuff, like, but even so, you have to be careful if you're sparring like a big heavyweight guy, like, because one
yeah,
punch is all it takes. Like, so I think
absolutely.
that's the sort of the intrigue for fans for this one, like, the crazy size difference. But then again, it's a bit of a hazard really with it, like cruiserweight against the lightweight. So I think there'll probably be a few weight stipulations included for this one. But yeah,
Yeah.
bit of a strange one, like.
Yeah, it's madness. I mean, as I said, I'm not into the misfits at all, but we're in a strange world at the minute where, yeah, I've said this to a lot of people. If you've got a big social media profile, it will help you sell, um, and money talks, doesn't it? And as you said, I feel sorry for some of the guys that have to absolutely graft their asses off to go and earn really for what they do in the ring on some of the smaller hall shows. It's not great, is it at all?
No,
It's it's
exactly.
it's a tragedy. Um, Lee, I really appreciate your time for coming on my channel. I wish you the best of luck carrying on with your career. Obviously, I'll post this video out. Is there anything you want to add before we sign off this channel, this show?
No, just thanks very much for having me on. Shout out to Elite, everyone, all the coaches at Elite Boxing Gym that have helped me to this stage of my career, and all my sponsors too. They know who they are. Like, it's without sponsorship for fighters like me, well, I wouldn't be able to get to this point in my career, and a lot of other fighters are in the exact same boat. Like, so yeah, thanks to all them guys.
Brilliant. And I'm looking forward to keeping tabs on your career as well. Now, once again, I wish you all the luck and thanks for your time, Lee.
Nice one. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.